Hang a sec.
There we go. Broadcast.
There we are. We are live.
My name is Abby. Some people know me as Road Rage. I'm here with my dear friend Claire. You may know her as Slutty the Clown. Fantastic, beautiful. And what we've decided to do is just kind of talk about a show that we love so much, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know, she and I quip back and forth in our groups, and one day we just said, you know what, let's restart watching them from the beginning and talk a bit about what we love about this show. And if you guys wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, leaving comments, because we're going to have questions throughout. We're, you know, old and we don't remember as much as we should.
We old and we smoke a lot.
Yes. So, and Claire and I have both agreed we're going to talk slowly because we tend to ramble, if you know us.
We also tend to talk at each other
over
rather
each
than
other.
to each other. So we're going to try and be a little bit more calm and pronounce what we're trying to say.
Accents aside.
Accents aside.
So, Claire, I actually had a question for you to start. Did Buffy aired in the US right away? Did you guys have to wait a couple years for that, or did you get it immediately as well?
Originally, it was aired on Sky Network, on the Sky TV network.
Skynet.
And I think it was something like maybe 4 weeks after the first episode, we got the first episode.
Oh, okay.
And it went from there.
It wasn't like you had to wait 3 years.
No. And then halfway through the whole thing, it then got put onto our what we call terrestrial TV, which is like the channels that play all day. You didn't have to have, say, cable, as you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to have cable then. You could actually like watch it on a normal channel.
Yeah.
But we had different versions as well. Ours were cut differently to yours.
I noticed that with a lot of shows. I think you and I discussed, which is for another day. Sherlock, the first episode of Sherlock is completely different, and I don't know which one is which.
Which I didn't know until you told me.
I didn't know till I rewatched them, and I went, "This is not how I remember it." And then I went back and rewatched it. It's like, but so Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we Claire and I discussed this ahead of time. We kind of want to have a disclaimer at the beginning that we understand there's very big feelings on Joss Whedon and everything that happened in the last few years. And although it may come up at times, we're going to avoid that topic because we have a love for the show and for the actors and for what
I think to mention it now, though, because it did happen, as we both said.
Right. We're not, we understand, we're not trying to be tone deaf. We just
no, we do understand it happened. We need to address it, but we're not going to fixate on it. I think it's, as we both said, it's sad for the fans that they feel like they can't enjoy it like they used to.
It'll be a very special episode of Once More with Abby and Claire when we discuss that. That'll be an episode.
Yes, we'll maybe save that for a late night issue.
Yes, but let's start with the first episode. From we can talk about the pilot if you want first, which is obviously different than the first episode.
I think I've only seen the original pilot once. Obviously, it was a different Willow, wasn't it?
It was a different Willow, and I guess she didn't test, you know, I guess with pilots, they put it out
It's a long time ago since I've seen it, as I say, and I've seen it once.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, it's not the same. Girl. Yeah, she was, but it's not the same,
not is it? Willow, yeah. And I think they did a great job, well, casting at the end. When they ended up. I mean, that is... I love when Buffy and Willow meet for the first time, and you just like...
Oh, it's... well, you have that little tense moment at the water fountain when Cordelia's been her usual bitch self. And you kind of see Buffy register the fact that she's going to have to make a choice about now.
Yeah,
it's like I'm either a mean girl or am I me?
Who do I want to be?
Right. Yeah, who do I want to be?
She's not that person anymore, because what I love about the show is it technically picks up right after the movie, you know, give or take some things. Obviously they've made some poetic license with some of the but it takes right after that. So she's already burned down her old high school, and now she's starting fresh, and she was once a mean girl and she realized that didn't play well for her. So I like that. I like the path that she chose.
Yeah, she chose the right path, definitely. Oh, thank you, Clint,
Oh,
for
hi,
joining
Clint.
us.
Love
I see you
you.
working hard as usual.
I showered for you today, okay? But
Yeah,
I just
I'd say I brushed my hair, but it's quite obvious I haven't.
there's a quote from, I think it's the first episode that I wrote down because I just love it. And she's like, to make you a vampire, they have to suck your blood and then you have to suck their blood. And it's a whole big sucking thing, but mostly they're just going to kill you. And I just love it. Because that basically sums up everything. And
Yeah, I think with one, as you say, like we had the pilot, that was the pilot, and then we go on to sort of welcome to the hellmouth, and that's where everything's established, isn't it? You know.
And I feel like since I live in Florida now, maybe I'm closer to understanding what's
Yeah. You didn't set fire to any gymnasiums, did you, Abby?
I'm now on the hellmouth. But so give me some notables about, well, the first episode, everybody meeting Xander, trying to, get in everybody's pants, but poor Willow just desperately thinks that's what she wants.
Yeah, I mean, it opens obviously with the fact that the new girl's coming. You know, we've got your personal favourite, Jessie. I know you love Jessie. And of course, Xander
Jessie before
being...
he was hot. That was Eric Alpha before he got super
I know,
hot.
he's your kryptonite, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
He just, I don't know. He got nice looking.
And I'll be honest, first show of Anthony Stewart Head was enough for me.
I love him. I just watched his daughter in something, but that's for another day. She's on something I just watched, and I was like, oh, she's adorable. Who is she? And she's Anthony's daughter. So you may have already known that, being British. And
I didn't actually. I actually didn't.
But
I actually spoke to somebody a while back who'd actually met him. I think his wife breeds horses, I think.
You said that. You said that they were lovely, whoever told you.
Yeah, they said they were lovely, lovely people, definitely. Said they were absolutely charming, spoke to them all day.
I hear it in your voice when I think lovely people. Just lovely.
Lovely people.
Lovely people. So yes, we've got Cordelia, we've got Jessie, Xander, and Willow as like the three musketeers. The new girl comes in. Nobody's sure, but she's hot. So the boys are all in. And Cordelia is thinking maybe I can get some new blood to kiss my butt, like just somebody else to tell me how wonderful I am. And then I don't know.
Then we get a body in a locker.
Oh, let me get a body in a locker with two little bite marks in his neck. My favorite is when she meets Giles for the first time. When he throws the vampire
slams the book down on the table, and she's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
That's my favorite. And the Nerf Herder song was my ringtone for like 100 years. And every time I get a new freaking phone, they take away. I feel
like the soundtrack songs, everything that's featured musically in Buffy is something we're going to come back to every single episode. Yep. Because there's always something musically amazing.
Great bands playing at the Bronze, which you had mentioned before.
Yeah.
What was your question about that? You said.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If anyone who's sort of into Buffy knows that anything that happens at the Bronze, there's usually an act, a band, as Abby's just said there, that basically they were showcasing new bands. That's what they did on the show. And I couldn't find a name for the one that's in Welcome to the Hellmouth, the band that was in there. I Googled it away, couldn't find it. So if anybody knows when rewatching this, any Buffy fans, put it in the comments so you can help us out, and then we'll talk about it on the next one. Because I feel it's definitely worth going into those bands that were in the Bronze every time. There's some amazing people in there.
I mean, I'm sure there's a soundtrack that exists, but I would love to just make our own. I'll burn you a CD, baby. MP3, because we're classy.
I'll burn you a CD, baby. With the that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna burn each other a love CD of Buffy songs. It's going to be amazing. I'll just Lauren Annetts has just said hello to us as well.
Hello.
Oh, why I haven't put Lauren's up. Sorry, Clint. Daisy Anthony Head has two daughters, Daisy and Emily. Thank you, Clint.
Yes, and one of them was just in something I watched yesterday, but don't ask me what, because that was yesterday, and
You've slept since then.
that's
Same.
gone. So, yeah, I mean, I think the first episode is kind of easy to get through. I love when Buffy is at the bronze, and I'm going to mix up which one is 1 and which one is 2. But at this point, Giles tells Buffy, you know, hone your skills, find the vampire in the room. And Buffy's like, that dude. He's like, what do you mean that dude?
I love the
Look
way
at
she knows which
fashion.
dude it is as well.
Look at his fashion. He hasn't changed since the 70s. Like, that's
Yeah.
the vampire.
What is
And
it? The
she's like-
nylon shirt. She mentions the nylon shirt. Yeah.
And he's like,
That guy's
no,
not
that's
been
not
on a
how
date
you
since the
do it.
70s. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then, of
I
course,
think that's
Miss
one of the
Willow.
good things about Buffy all the way through is the one-liners are they're so
The
fun.
humor. Yeah, the humor. The writers are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, the comedy in it all the way through the first episode sets the tone for the entire thing.
Right.
You know, there's so many. I mean, even from one thing we didn't mention, opening scenes in Welcome to the Hellmouth. We have a very special person in the first scene of Welcome to the Hellmouth, who we think is an innocent young girl at that point.
Oh, in the actual episode, yes, Darla, young Darla.
A young and fresh Darla.
Ah, she was so, you forget how long ago this
She was
show
adorable.
She
would have.
looks beautiful. She was just at a convention last week. I've seen her.
Shame.
She's stunning. However, she was very young in that. Very, very young.
Very, very young.
And
quick shout out to Lauren Annetts, who's also commented. We love you too, you sexy sod. Bless her. Oh, here he is. Donald Murray.
Donald Murray.
We love you. Jesus Christ will let anyone start a podcast these days.
Too
true. Too true.
I apologize for any face I make, but I can't read. So when things come up, Claire just has to either read them to me in her beautiful accent, or I need to make this face so I can see what's going on. So
that's the first time anybody's ever called my accent beautiful.
I love it, man. You know that. You know I do. But so let's see. Well, thanks guys for listening and watching.
Yeah,
and
we
I
appreciate
have no idea
you.
how to tell who's on here. I'm very technical, you know. But Buffy, all things Buffy in the Buffyverse. So first episode, we meet Buffy rather goes and follows Willow and said vampire that she has picked out of the bronze very quickly based on his attire.
And his fashion sense.
Follows them through the cemetery, and we eventually meet a very, very large vampire that knocks her out from the side. Brian Thompson, is it?
Yeah, I think this will be where Abby helps me out. She can't see the screen, but I'm terrible with names. So when it comes to the actors, you're going to be the one probably that's going to help me out with the actor names and sort of, you know, the weekly creep, whoever it is that week.
But here, you talk while I look this up. I just want to get the name right because I love him and I don't know why. I think it's because my brain is.
Yeah, I mean, so we're in the crypt being followed, and that crypt is used consistently through, I think, all the seasons, isn't it, as well?
It's Brian Thompson. I was right. So
Brian Thompson, yeah, great actor, actually very sinister.
He's amazing in everything he does. He's in a million things if you just look up his IMDb. So he steps in. There's been a tussle. Buffy comes in, breaks it up. Then Luke, Brian Thompson, knocks her out, and she manages. She get away, or
she does. She's kind of in the stone tomb, isn't she? Next to the body, and we have the. And
he jumps on top of her.
And then I can't remember. I think that's when she kind of like jumps past as such, and we don't realize until later on that actually there's tunnels all connecting to the back of that.
Yeah,
crypt.
So that's what she determines, that he was already in there. So he came up from a tunnel, which helped her to then go find Jesse has been taken. You see, Don.
Terribly chewed on.
I don't know how to remove said comments on there. Maybe that's just what we are now. So again, yes, Jesse gets taken. They go to save Darla. We love Darla.
Oh, Darla. Yeah.
There's a bit of, I mean, we don't have to recap the whole thing, but we come to find that Jesse has been turned. And this is very devastating for those of us that started the show right off the bat and went, oh, it's that cute boy. And then realized he wasn't going to make it past the first 2 episodes, which happens a lot. And we get used to that. So we recoup back at the Bronze. Oh, but before that, we meet the Master.
Of course, the Master.
Master is a great villain, played by Mark Metcalf. And I know a lot of you out there know who Mark Metcalf is. He's was in Animal House. He was in the Twisted Sister videos.
Yes.
Always plays like a hard-ass son of a bitch in the best possible way. So he's unrecognizable. Mortal Kombat. Brian Thompson from Mortal Kombat 2 fame. Love that.
I've not seen that, I'll be honest.
I haven't seen the second one either. Is that terrible? That'll be a podcast for another day.
That'll be for another day.
So we find that the Master wants to rise again, and to do so, Luke has become his vessel, and every body he consumes will power the Master.
Yeah, and I mean, coming back to the Master yet again, which is featured later on, obviously. Great, absolute great creature. You know, the whole prosthetic, the whole, just the teeth. I don't think we'd ever seen anything like that in a TV series, personally.
No.
I certainly never remember seeing effects or creature makeup like that. Latex effects, teeth. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that before, Buffy, personally, in a TV show.
Right. No, that was, we'll talk about the makeup a lot. And you and I both commented after the first one that they got a lot better with the dustings. The first vamp kill, we're like, oh, we were so young. But the makeup on the Master is perfection. He's such a good actor, and actually a lovely man. I met him at New Jersey Horror Con a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's
so what else can we say about that? So we go to the Bronze because we're going to go to the other cool place on a Friday night that plays music. So yes, we end up there. Cordelia is in her fine Cordelia-ness of
she's in full bitch mode.
Buffy accidentally attacks Cordelia. Accidentally, she believes that she thought it was the vampire coming through, so she accidentally attacks Cordelia, in which Cordelia says, I need to go tell everyone I've ever met about this, and does, so that we know Buffy.
And by the time she's got outside, the whole of Sunnydale knows.
Everybody already knows. So the Bronze is on lockdown, and Luke is just basically destroying all these little people, and Jesse gets a little butthurt because he wants Cordelia. He feels like she's tormented him his whole life, and now he's a vampire, and now he can get some, and he wants some of that, and he is fooled because it's not for him, it's for the Master.
Yeah, for the Master. Yeah, I mean, Jesse was such a great character. It's pretty sad, really. I know how you feel about it. I mean, he was never a huge one to me that I thought, oh, God, he's amazing. But I know for you. And
I don't even remember what the first thing I saw him in, but I like him as an actor.
I don't know what else I've seen
him. You're like,
in
he's going to be somebody. And then he's like, but I do love that it actually is Xander that ends up accidentally dusting him, if I remember correctly. So somebody bumps into him, and he is the one to complete the task, which is really only fair. It was his best friend.
Yeah. It's the only way I should take him out of the world. Really.
They could have killed Cordelia like 6 times through that whole series, and I'd have been okay with it. I'd have been all right.
Yeah.
I know she, gets a soul later or whatever, but she's mean. I don't like mean girls.
She's incredibly mean through the entire thing. I don't think, literally personally, I don't think till she gets to Angel, she turns into a nice person.
Yeah.
Personally.
That's a good point.
You know, until she actually leaves that series and goes across to Angel, she doesn't actually gain a personality or a soul.
Yeah, she's on her own, which is, terrifying.
She's super bitch through the entire thing.
But so push comes to shove. One of my favorite parts in this episode is when Buffy tricks Luke into thinking it's daytime, and she's like, "How about the sun?" and breaks the window, and the car headlights come in, and he's like, "Ah!" and then she can dust him because she's like, "In like 6 more hours," or whatever. It's beautiful. I knew right away. I mean, I was a fan of the movie to start with. But I watched the first episode the first day it aired, and I watched them all in real time. And I love every bit of it.
I think for me as well, from that first episode, that opener, for me, that was it. I was hooked. It was one of those, I waited for that new episode every single week.
Every Tuesday night, man. Dawn's in trouble.
We showed it Fridays. Fridays for us. We had it on a Friday.
Was it Fridays? Okay, it was Tuesday for us. But yeah, just fantastic. I'm trying to think of what else we can say about the first 2 episodes, so we're not just sitting here and giving you a boring recap.
Yeah,
and if anybody has any questions or comments or stories,
anything they want to put in comments, obviously as we're going on, people will watch back later, we will go back and look at the comments, so we will answer that later on, so that's not a problem either. I think with the first 2, because obviously the second episode's Harvest, isn't it? They're a 2-parter, 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. So really you have to loop them together. Really, I feel
that's what I think too.
Yeah, they're the screen setter. They are setting the tale up. They are giving you the backstory. This is what it is. This is how it's going to be. I think by the time you get to 3, we get to those Creature of the Week episodes.
Yes, 100%. So 3, as we know, is I love the episode of the witches. Is it just called?
I think it's just called The Witch.
It is called Witch. Just Witch.
Just Witch.
Just Witch. And we've got Buffy back to her feeling like her own self. I want to be a cheerleader. And I give her credit. Pom-poms are fun, I think. I think if someone got me pom-poms, I would be a cheerleader. But
cheerleading, especially at that time, wasn't a thing in our country. I mean, we do have a bit of competitive cheerleading now in this country. But cheerleading is not something that's even in school curriculum or anything here. We don't have cheerleading. So to us, watching that, it's so glamorous to us to see that episode, where everyone's a cheerleader and everyone's doing tryouts. And it's like, it was kind of a fun thing to us, It made America look so glamorous. The fact that you do driver's ed made it look glamorous to us. We don't even have that.
Funny. I just blanked on what I was going to say. Right out of my brain. What does that say? Know what to get Abby for Christmas. A new brain. But yes. So Witch. So basically, Buffy is concerned while she's trying out for the cheerleading team that accidents of an unusual and supernatural nature are happening to the other cheerleaders, and by process of elimination they determine that Amy is
obviously our first look at Amy, who is
Amy. And Amy comes up a lot through the series, which I love.
Amy's great. I feel as a character she's such a good character. I don't know the actress that plays her. If anybody does, feel free to put it in comments so we know for another time, because we're kind of winging this for our own fun more than anything. Abby's probably going to look now.
Is Elizabeth Ann Allen.
Amy is a great character all the way through the seasons, and her first sort of outing in this is pretty great. And as I say, first creature is a witch, kind of sets the tone for after the vampires. Obviously, we find out about Willow a lot later on, but we've kind of got this theme that started off supernatural things happening, creatures. And, we know Sunnydale's on a hellmouth.
Yeah, it's not just vampires. You're on a hellmouth, which means everything is possible.
And anything.
Yeah. And I remember when they were looking at books on witches, Xander had checked all the books out on the witches, which I think is funny and really goes.
And he's trying to get out of the room going, no, it's fine. We don't need to look at it. And he's like, Xander Harris. And what's the like? We know you like to look at the nude medieval scriptures or whatever. And he sets that Xander tone of him actually being a little pervert pretty much all the way through it.
Which is, he's a 16-year-old boy or a
Of course.
15-year-old boy when we start. So they're all perverts.
That's what you do at that
Not
age.
inappropriate. I don't know. I was taking notes and then obviously didn't make any sense there whatsoever. So
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same.
Amy, we determine, is persona non grata. However, we come to find that it's actually not Amy. It's Amy's mother, who is the witch, who has switched places with Amy because she was the head cheerleader back in her day, and Amy is wasting her life not being the head cheerleader. And so, Robin Riker is the name of the actress that plays their mom. She's just, at least in the United States, like you look her up, she's that lady. Oh, she was in that thing with that guy,
I must admit, I couldn't figure out what she had been in, I'll be honest, but I feel like I've seen her a lot.
But she's so familiar, right? Yeah. And if you look, she's got one-ons on a lot of different things, but I don't know. But fantastic actress. The episode is silly, somebody is talking too much, so she takes her mouth away. Somebody else, I'm trying to remember what the other.
We've got the first girl was the human combustion. Yeah, sets on fire.
Love a good setting on fire.
Can't be a good torching.
Spontaneous combustion.
Cordelia, of course, she sends Cordelia blind.
Cordelia. So
with the driver's ed, that is so funny.
First of all, Cordelia and driver's ed to start with would make me insane.
It's like, who thought it was a good idea to put Cordelia in driver's ed? I don't even know.
So funny because horror can happen anywhere. Deal with that outfit for a moment. But yes, so again, she begins exacting revenge on each of the cheerleaders so that she's the alternate. So until she gets on the team, and then she needs to be the head. And as Buffy and the Scooby Gang, soon to be named, do, everybody researches, everybody works together, which I do love the everybody works together thing.
And it is kind of the first, I thought myself, it's that kind of first outing of the Scooby Gang together. They've all found their roles. We've established who everyone is, and who's the funny, who's the nerd, who's this, and it's kind of the first work together as a team episode to solve the mystery as such. It's the first Scooby Gang outing, I think, properly is 3, definitely.
Yeah, love it.
And you have the kind of the cat jumping out the trunk, out of Amy's mom's trunk,
for a jump scare.
Which you
remember from the opening, and
very much a lot of titles in that opening that are in those first 3 as well. Yeah, absolutely great episode, I think. Which was one of my favorite episodes of the early ones, definitely.
Yeah, it's light, but it's also pretty dark. It's
yeah, well, I do feel, as we've talked before, me and you, in the past, the themes were quite dark for the time and for the age range. They were kind of portraying it
on a lot of subjects in here. And again, this is a story about, and all of these, everybody's parents are divorced and this and that, and Amy's mother just happens to be a psycho witch, which happens
pretty much.
People.
Yeah, I'd say there are big sort of vibes to parable tales, things like jealousy, getting old,
Yes, exactly.
Competitiveness, there's all those, and I think every single episode in some way, even the silly ones, have
there's a moral in there somewhere.
Messages.
Yeah, there's a moral somewhere, and
yes,
we're gonna learn stuff whether we want to or not.
Yeah, we're going to learn the right way about life, but we're going to try and make you enjoy it on the way.
Yeah, and the parental units in this show are fascinating. I mean, Joyce tries, she's a single mom, but she
I feel Joyce, especially in those first 3 episodes, they portrayed her like any single mom. She's busy, she's fried, she's working, she's had to move her daughter because she's set fire to the gymnasium. Everything's on her, and she's not really listening. She's not really focusing. She's just doing. She's just surviving. She's having to do every day.
On survival. And I love, Joyce became one of my favorite characters later, which we'll talk about later. But even the episode where Spike is outside, doing the faces behind her.
Christine Sutherland is absolutely outstanding in the entire thing. One of my favourite actresses in the whole thing. Absolutely brilliant. And we'll go on to later with some of the episodes where
where she
ones
was
where she's just in it even and she doesn't do anything. You know, I think we both know what we're talking about there. Just absolutely shocking episodes. And then there's Hard Candy, but we're getting ahead ourselves.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we have to get, because that one's we'll probably do a whole episode on Hard Candy just for our love of Giles. And I've known a few psycho witches. I'm right here.
You still know a few psycho witches. We're right here.
It's like you don't even know me. But yeah, I love that everybody starts to come into their own by episode 3. Buffy is kind of starting to like the fact that she can rely on people. You know, nobody's died.
I feel
yet.
she feels like she has friends. I feel like Ellie, they give the impression that she was cheerleader.
Oh yeah,
she wasn't really
girl. She was
popular girl, but unhappy.
Yeah,
she was Cordelia. We get that.
People paid attention to her. She was the it girl, the hot girl. So nobody ever knew her. You know, it's not until maybe Willow that anybody ever knew her. And I think that's kind of
took
beautiful.
The time to not just look at her as a pretty girl as well, or a popular girl.
Right, exactly.
I think Willow's sweet nature, you know, and the way she actually was as a person kind of broke through all of that. She was very naive. She didn't look at her as a Cordelia, even though she should have done. You know, she kind of was very
because she
open.
proved herself right off the bat. You know, when it could have come down to, I still say you shop at the softer side of Sears, but
bitch.
Joyce.
Bitch.
What they say? Joyce is a
fucking hero.
Oh, fucking hero. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Again, that'll be later episodes when my heart breaks. But yeah, so that's basically, like I said, if anybody watches this later and they want to talk about some specific things from the first 3 episodes, we're not going to take too much more of your time today because we want to make this fun for you and for us. And we also, well, should we tell them we have no idea what we're doing? No, we know exactly what we're doing.
No, we know exactly what we're doing, honestly.
Yeah, we do. And we're excited to do this. And I really hope that you guys will do this with us. Claire, I don't want to cut you off. Is there anything else about the first 3 episodes?
Pretty much just what you're saying, as people say. If there's anything anybody wants to ask or talk about, or anything they want us to mention in episodes coming up that we get to, if they write it in comments or send us a message, we can discuss that at any time. You know, we want to make it fun, as you say, for us. We're not taking ourselves too seriously. We couldn't.
But I mentioned, I brushed my hair, I washed my face.
I didn't brush my hair, but
your hair is amazing, so you don't have to.
It's got a mind of its own. But yeah, pretty much the same as you. I think if you come along with us and like listening to us to talk rubbish, which I think we have a few friends of ours that don't mind that. We love Buffy and we just want to share it with everyone, really. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. And so again, we've watched the first 3 episodes. Again, we're starting from the beginning. We figure at the beginning, we'll try to do at least once a week. I don't know. We haven't really discussed, but we'll make.
I think once a week we'll aim for, possibly more, depending on what we've both got on.
You know, probably a couple episodes each clip because we have a lot to get through. And then if this goes swimmingly after all these seasons, you know, we have Angel, we have tie-ins, we have this, we have that.
We have offshoot series that wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for Buffy and Angel, things that would never have been picked up by networks.
Paved the way. We will, like I said, our next one will be on the next couple episodes. So if you want to watch with us, we can give little updates on how many we get through before.
Yeah, and we're going to start popping up a live schedule, aren't we, as well? So you'll know when we're going live from now on. We were just getting our training wheels on today, really.
Yes,
that's done right in. Clint and I will help the best we can. Thank you, love.
Thank you, love.
Big shout out to Richard Bacon, actually, for setting all this up for me and Abby.
Richard Bacon is the man.
He is, bless him. He's put up with us, and just when we've said, can we do this? But we want to do it like this. And he's just kind of done it. So.
Or like Claire and I will have entire conversations where we just throw Buffy quotes back and forth to each other. And she knows if we're in our group messenger, I'll say things that I know only she gets.
Same, I say things only you would understand as well. And the rest, everyone else is like, I don't know what you're talking about right now.
You don't have to. We entertain ourselves. So
We can
I
talk
love you
to
guys
ourselves.
so much. Please share, like, subscribe, and all that other weird stuff. And
Yeah, pop your notification bell on as well, because that helps
oh,
us.
yes. And you guys are amazing.
We love you very much.
Bye.